remaining as parliamentary secretary after last night's vote?
Right now, I've got to reflect on last night's vote. It was a very hard time for me, last night's vote, what happened. I will be very honest. I felt that the message that I put through about how disturbing the original motion was, clearly didn't prevail. And whenever you don't prevail, although political battles, you have battles that you win and battles that you lose. That was a difficult one to lose.
You seemed really upset about the last-minute amendment that your government put forward. How did that make you feel as a parliamentarian?
I think when you bring forward an amendment 5 minutes before the end of debate and nobody has a chance to debate it, so nobody has actually seen it or reviewed it, it's bad parliamentary form. I think parliamentarians have a right to know and understand what they're voting on, in all cases, whatever party does it. And I've tried to maintain a balanced view throughout, and I felt that wasn't correct as a parliamentarian.
Do you feel like you can stay in the Liberal caucus?
Again, right now I'm reflecting on what happened yesterday, and when I have an announcement on how I've ended my reflection, which could be whenever, I'll certainly let you know.
But what did happen yesterday? What is your assessment of what happened ultimately at the end of the day for this change to be enacted the way it was? Why did it happen?
Why did it happen? Obviously, the government and the NDP negotiated an amendment. Now, was the amendment a better amendment than the original motion? Of course. But was it necessary to do that when I still don't agree with the contents even of the final motion? I don't think so. I think we could have just voted down an NDP opposition day motion easily. And that should have been, to me, the course that we took.
Do you think there's an effort being made to keep you in the Liberal Party right now?
I think a lot of my colleagues are trying to show me a lot of love right now. But, again, I imagine people want to keep me. I think they'd want to keep anybody, wouldn't they?
Is this the first time that you're actually kind of reflecting on your role within this party? I mean, this has been going on for a number of months now. There's been tensions in Canada, rising anti-Semitism. You've seen your government struggle to sometimes or come up with a position that satisfies everybody, and you've kind of been at the forefront of this. But is this the first time you're actually kind of reflecting on your future here?
I think it's the first time in my parliamentary career that I've had a reflection like this, where I truly felt last night that a line had been crossed. When my party members got up and cheered and gave a standing ovation to Heather McPherson and the NDP, I started reflecting as to whether or not I belonged. And I will let you know further how I feel over the coming days. For the moment, I'm still there. All right?
Whether or not you belong, though, that's a very profound thing, and I wonder if you could just expand on that.
I felt that Marco Mendicino, Ben Carr, and I were somewhat isolated, right? I think that it's very hard on an issue of identity like this, where as a Jewish Canadian, I am such a proud Canadian, as I tried to explain yesterday in my speech, but I also care passionately about the state of Israel, because it's the only refuge for Jewish people when they're exiled or thrown out of countries. And today, with the strong wave of anti-Semitism across the world, you need an Israel. And I didn't feel like some members of parliament, or a lot of members of parliament, understood the existential threat that Israel faces and the fears of Jewish Canadians as a result of what's happening domestically and what's happening abroad. And it easily could have been that we voted against as a party the NDP motion, and we did not do that. And then we gave a standing ovation to the NDP member who sponsored the original motion. And I have to reflect now.
Monsieur Razandé, juste en français, vous
Oui.
dites qu'il y a une ligne qui a été franchie, vous dites que vous êtes en réflexion un peu sur votre place au sein du gouvernement. Juste vous entendre en français là-dessus.
Oui. Comme j'ai dit hier, c'était quelque chose de très émouvant hier soir. Et moi, je croyais que la motion de l'NPD aurait dû être rejetée complètement. C'était une motion qui était contre la politique étrangère du Canada depuis des décennies, et quelque chose qui était vraiment choquante pour la communauté juive du Canada. Et on a négocié un amendement. L'amendement a amélioré l'état de choses. C'était une meilleure résolution à la fin, mais on aurait dû rejeter complètement l'amendement. Et à la fin, c'était quelque chose moi-même que je suis contre. Mais je me sentais très isolé et les autres députés aussi qui ont voté contre. Je trouvais qu'ils étaient isolés et je n'aimais pas le fait que nous avons donné une ovation debout à la parraine de l'NPD. Donc, je suis en réflexion.
Donc,
Merci.
peut-être que c'est la goutte qui fait déborder le vase?
Excusez-moi?
C'est un peu la goutte qui fait déborder le vase. Pour vous, c'est vraiment
Oui.
ça?
Oui, tout à fait. Tout à fait. Merci.
Thanks so much for stopping.